Hey, it's Tuesday morning. It's 8 a.m.
It
and
is.
we're already down at the fair waiting to get in. So that's what we're talking about today is state fairs. And they are all over the country. It's like more and more of them. Traditionally, more than half of the country has state fairs going on right now.
That's interesting. I used to go to the Michigan State Fair a lot. That one has, I mean, I think over the years, a lot of state fairs run into problems with whether it be the economy spot, whatever. But the Michigan State Fair, I remember it being great some years, and then I remember other years it not being so good, like, the vendors and just weather and all that. But
Right.
Um, yeah, there's so many state fairs. I would love to go to a state fair, obviously, in another state that I'm not from.
And it's interesting you mentioned Michigan because the vast majority of the state fairs are in the northern part of the country. And
Yeah.
one of the reasons was, for instance, some of the oldest state fairs are in Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa, actually New York. New
Hmm.
York State Fair started in 1886,
Wow.
so 137 years ago. But one of the things was the state fairs originally revolved more around agriculture, livestock,
Yeah.
livestock shows. People would come in to buy and sell livestock, and then rodeos were added.
It
Uh,
was like a stock exchange. Like if you think about like the Fort Worth Animal Stock Exchange, that's what the state fair was. And then you'd have your little, things on the side. It was like a farmer's market meets a state fair type thing.
right, right. The flea markets, the open markets, and everything. And then somewhere along the line, somebody said, "Hey, wait a minute, let's make this a family thing, and let's start,
Sure.
serving
Yeah.
food and involve vendors." Then they started bringing in all the amusements. Uh, and over the last decade or two, or maybe even three, some of the state fairs started saying, "Well, let's put up a entertainment pavilion." Uh,
Huge, huge.
and start bringing in talent. Well, that has gotten big, and
Yeah, yeah, it has, especially
the,
where we are.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I'm going to do a hot take right now in this Texas State Fair and probably make all of our 75% of our viewers mad. I don't think the State Fair is that great. I got to be honest with you. I think it's completely overpriced, overrated, crowded, especially most of the time it's hot. Um, I got to be honest with you. I've gone once and I don't want to go again. I've it's so expensive. Like, and I've got some good connections that can kind of get me in and all this. And I've thought about taking Luke, but I'm gonna be honest with you, he's gonna be like, nah, nah.
well,
It's just
it's
it's massive, overwhelming ridiculousness. And we have another aspect to it, and I'll get to that in a minute, because this Texas State Fair has recently made some changes to some of the admissions. But I will say this: it's not to say there's not something cool there. That's not what I'm saying. It is just too crowded and too expensive to enjoy.
and the interesting thing is, it's most crowded Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Obviously, the
Sure.
weekend. So what they've done is because they've got to pay their overhead expenses all week long. Monday through Thursday, for instance, the Texas State Fair is $15 for adults and $10 for kids and seniors.
Okay.
Friday they bump it up to $20 and 15, and that's for Friday and Saturday. Sunday 25 for adults,
What?
18 for kids and
That
seniors.
that's ridiculous. So here's the thing, guys. Just to let you guys know, that doesn't get you anything.
No,
That
no, no.
gets you
That's
onto the
just to
fairgrounds.
get in the door.
And guess what? That's not parking either.
Right. And the
And
parking
so
is interesting too, because the parking in the more remote areas is $20. If you want to get a little closer, it's $40. They encourage you to take an Uber or a Lyft or something to
that's
get
like
there.
60 bucks.
That's right. And or they say to take the mass
You could
transportation,
take the dart, but you
but
gotta
you
you
got to
gotta
go
live near the
someplace to
dart.
get the dart.
So, like for us, and we're just to put it in perspective for everybody out there, if you haven't figured it out by now, for us on a good day, well, from the state fair, not from Dallas, but from where the state fair is, we're a good 40 minutes, give or take, maybe
Right.
45, whatever. So the closest dart to us is 30 minutes one way, 30 minutes another way.
Right. And then I got to wait for the train and get off of the train. Although the train drops you off right at the entrance.
No, it does. Now,
yeah.
if you're like, hey, this is what we're going to do, this is our thing, and you go down to Dallas and maybe you park somewhere in Dallas, because there's some areas that you can park for $10-15. They all jack them up around state fair times, but you go away, then you jump on the dart, or maybe you're staying in Dallas and you're like, you know what? If I was spending the night in Dallas and I take a dart to the state fair, that eliminates that cost. But you still got to pay the $15 to $20, $25 to get in, and that's all you're doing. That's not including the $10 to $15 beers. That's not including the $8 to $15 pieces of fried stuff. That's, I mean, not including shirts and games and rides and nothing. You could literally go and drop $200.
And everything I think they don't even accept cash at
some
rides.
Some places do.
You have to buy tickets. And the tickets are $1 each. So if you want to get on a ride, the ride might be 6 tickets, which is $6. But the tickets sales, I just downloaded, the tickets are sold in rolls of 50. So now you got to lay out $50.
How expensive it is. That's how expensive it is.
Yeah. So now you buy a roll of tickets for $50, and it's $6 here, and it's another $8 for a corn dog and some for funnel cakes. You're running back to that ticket booth and buying another $50 roll. I mean, you stop and do the math. I mean, and granted, they get a lot of people from in town as well as out of town that come to the Texas State Fair. But my gosh, for a family of 4 to go there on a Sunday could be $200 to $300 easy.
That's what I'm getting at. It's look, guys, we can sit there and look at the entertainment, which, by the way, some of it is on the stage. Some of it you're paying tickets for.
Right.
And they've got some cool car museums and all that, whatever. But, and I'm not putting anybody down who goes, but let's be real. It is a glorified carnival. That's all it is. It's a glorified carnival with more food options. Big deal. Big deal.
And you can actually, I think, go to the grocery store and buy Fletcher's corn dogs and make them at home.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. So now I'm not putting down state fairs because I do like the concept of it. I really do. I'm just not into the Texas State Fair at all. I don't think Big Tex, when he caught on fire, I thought it was hilarious. I mean, I don't want anybody to get hurt, and nobody did, but it really was funny. People were like, can you believe this happened? I'm like, bro, it's a paper mache, giant, stupid, like, stop.
You kind of get the idea that people go back every year just to see if it's going to happen again.
I know, it really was. And I think that happened right before COVID. And then it was shut down.
You know,
oh man, we're getting canceled.
Big Tex got COVID and burned up.
They burned him alive. But there are some cool things, and I want to highlight that before we bash on it. First, I want to say, if you guys are going, if anybody in Texas or Oklahoma or surrounding states, you're going to the state fair, I need to tell you something. If you think you're going to be able to just drop your kids off, and I don't mean like toddlers, but I mean like teenagers off and leave, it ain't happening. They have an actual curfew thing now where they must be accompanied by an adult. And a lot of that comes from a lot of shenanigans that's been happening. And I hate to put the blame on teenagers, because I'm going to tell you right now, I've seen more things with drunken adults, and I've seen more things outside of the fairgrounds to be worried about than the teenagers. But we had an incident here in Frisco, which is why they shut the carnival down. And I doubt it'll be coming back. They have a curfew now, so be careful on that.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, folks, it's your choice. I mean, as I say, there are, I don't know what the prices are to go into some of the other state fairs, and I'll check it out, but
sure. Yeah.
Usually every fall there are county fairs.
Exactly.
Just like we've talked about going to major league sporting events, but the option is to go to a minor league sporting event or a college sporting event, and it's like a fourth of the cost. You can find all around this in most of the states, you have county fairs that also bring in carnival rides. They have entertainment, they have food on a little smaller scale, but it's also a fraction of the price.
There's a county fair, or I don't know, I guess what would be county. It's out in the Rockwall, Royce City area. I went there twice, and I gotta tell you, I had a blast. It was cheaper. The food was great. I didn't really care about the rides. I don't do those things, but the entertainment, oh my God, you want to talk about some top-notch Texas country music. Man, we had a ball. We saw some great people out there.
Exactly.
And I went 2 years in a row, and it was phenomenal.
And instead of being, 50, 60 rows from the stage to hear
Boom.
somebody of notoriety, you can go see really great entertainment and be right there, right in front of the entertainment to enjoy it.
And there is something fun about these fairs, like I know I talk trash about this Texas State Fair. That's just me, but there's something fun about it, getting some of that food, grabbing a big beer, or whatever the drink is. I mean, there's numerous breweries in Texas that do specific beers for the state fair. One of them is it's Community Brewing. Now you can buy this now. They can it, but it's only for a limited time, and you can buy this at your local grocery store, bars and all that. Maybe a grocery store that's right up the road from me. I'm not mentioning names, but it is the funnel cake ale, and you drink it. It's got the sweetness and the back end of a funnel cake. But what they do at the state fair, and what I encourage you guys to do if you get it, is they put powdered sugar around the rim.
Oh, like,
and so you drink it and it feels like you're like this funnel cake,
like salt on the margarita.
Yeah, but it's a powdered sugar, and it's called the Community Funnel Cake Ale, and it's fun to try. And then Tups used to do one. They did a cotton candy ale, and those things are fun to do, and it is one of that experience.
You sent me some dill pickle beer.
Yeah, you got the pickle beer. I've got some others if you want some. I've got a spicy michelada pickle beer that's pretty wild, and a chamois. So
You talk about oddities. The Iowa State Fair, just like we have big Tex, the big thing at the Iowa State Fair is a huge pig. That's their state. That's their fair symbol. It's made out of Iowa butter. It is carved solid butter.
Do you eat it, or what do they do with it every year?
One of the things, just like we go and get our corn dogs and the funnel cakes, they make deep fried sticks of butter.
So it's just like a butter ball, like it's just like a chunky, like a mozzarella stick with butter.
I mean, can you imagine going through a deep fried stick of butter?
That's like a level of fatness that just like takes you to. Didn't Joe Biden go to that fair recently? Or no?
I don't know. But
maybe I'm thinking of another president.
And by the way, funnel cakes seem to be a staple at any fair.
Any carnival,
medium, large, carnivals, even just like a city event, a petting zoo,
anything. We had them when Luke and I went to the pumpkin patch. They had them there. I've seen them at football games. I mean, that's not really, elephant ears, whatever.
Right.
And
it's
it is fun though. It is fun. There is something fun about it, and I think I'm with you. I think I'd like to go. I know the county fairs are still big. I think I'd like to go to outside of our counties, smaller counties, or other state fairs. Like I guess that's where the Texas State Fair really kind of draws people in, is from people that don't live in the DFW, from people that are, whether it's Texas or other states. That's kind of like, hey, if we're going to visit Texas, let's time it around this event. I could see doing that at other states.
Yeah, I think I haven't looked into it, but I think you can go to the counties where Abilene, Laredo, Midland, Odessa, those
I think
areas...
nobody's going to Odessa. Okay, Odessa is people in Odessa don't want to go to Odessa. There ain't nothing in Odessa.
But they have a state fair. They have
for five people.
One cow and one horse.
Some cartel guys, some crystal meth.
Yeah, it's rather small, but they do have funnel cakes.
Yeah.
That-
Nobody's going to Odessa. Nobody wants to go to Midland either. Let's be real. Like, come on, man.
I drove through there once.
Yeah, and you forgot all about it, right?
Yeah.
Man, if I start seeing signs to Odessa, I'm like, I gotta go, man.
Yeah, I know we're gonna get heat from Midland, Odessa.
Have
on
you
this
ever
show.
seen that movie, No Country for Old Men? I'm sure you have.
Yes, yeah.
Phenomenal movie.
Billy, what's his name? Was in that No Country for Old Men. Sam Shepard, I think, was in that. And
That movie's phenomenal.
yeah.
Top notch. Tommy Lee Jones, phenomenal.
Tommy Lee Jones. That's what I think.
But I can't think of Odessa without thinking of that movie. And I don't want to go to Odessa because of that movie. Like, nothing good happened in Odessa.
But no, I remember going to the county fairs back in Indiana.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
and not the counties where the major cities were, but going a county or two away. And they were a blast. I mean, you used to take a date and all, and throw baseballs at milk bottles and knock them off the shelf, and win stuffed animals and stuff like that. You know, that was part of the fair too.
I think there's something to be said, and maybe I'm just prejudiced or biased or whatever. I think there's something to be said about the state fairs back up north. I mean, I just knocked over something. I just think it's a different level. Plus, again, we get blessed because even in the hotness, like the heat of there, the time of year for the state fairs are still nothing. Like, I mean, just today it was 97 degrees. We're in freaking October, you know?
And up north, the state fairs right now, they're enjoying 60s.
For 70 during
high,
the day, 60 at night. I mean, at nighttime, you want to be able to put that hoodie on,
exactly,
and just drink a little. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. You know, take a date, get into the Ferris wheel, and use your imagination.
Man, the older I've got, I really blame Luke. But the older I've got, the more like paranoid I get about things, which is funny because I don't come across a guy that's like paranoid, but I remember taking Luke up in the Ferris wheel like the last time we went to the carnival, and I was like, man, no, don't move. Like, he's like, Dad, do you see that? I'm like, I see nothing. You just sit there. And he's like, isn't this cool? And I'm freaking out. Like, I'm like, and I'm thinking like, okay, we're at a low point now where if it falls, we'll probably get hurt, but I can save Luke, and then I'm thinking, oh, we're low now. If it falls, it's okay. We can just walk right off. But I mean, like, he's like, Dad, we're at the top. And I'm like sweating, and I'm like, just get me off this. Like, because I'm thinking like, what a jerk, like he's having a moment and this thing's going to fall. And I just killed both of us.
And then when you get to the bottom, you get finished. He says, Dad, can we do it again?
I know he asked that before. I was like, bro, we only got enough dollars for that thing. It's a maze. Why don't you go in the maze? But it's crazy though, because, and again, you're like, okay, wait a minute. How many times on the news? Oh, carnival ride falls. I mean, it happens every summer. So I'm like, why do we continue? Like, honestly, just ban them. Just ban them. Let's just ban the carnivals.
Yeah. Hey, Luke, how about getting into this little boat that goes around and got a little bell? Ding, ding, ding.
Right. I know. He was sitting on this one. It was like a motorcycle that went up and went. And he thought it was cool, but he was the only one on it. He's like, Dad, it was fun, but it kind of got boring after a while. And I'm like, what about the merry-go-round?
Yeah. How about going on the one that's like right there behind Uncle Stu?
Yeah, no, not happening. And I mean, that thing literally is just going to swing you right off. Like, like, see you later, dude. Especially
when you go on one of those after you've had a couple of corn dogs and some funnel cakes.
There's always somebody throwing out, man. I didn't like what happened at the carnival this year in Frisco and why they shut it down. And I thought there were several things that were, but I'm sure glad they did. So I had a reason not to go. I was like, oh, we can't go.
Right.
Because we were going to walk,
Darn,
And the last time we went, so they don't have tickets there. They have a card. And so you run your credit card through there and it just puts everything on a card, which is cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, again, with tickets, you can count that card. You're just swiping everything. Man, I got to tell you, Luke and I dropped like $100. Now, he got a lot of stuff. Like, that's the one cool thing was every time he played a game, he won something. It may not be the cool prize, but and it was fun. And there were games that he could play where he could actually try to win and did win big stuff.
Right.
I'm like, man, I could take you to the dollar store and give you $100 and you would just
That's right.
crush
You
it.
could walk out with half the store.
Right. But it's an experience,
And a corn dog and a funnel cake.
Mhm. Telling you, about to have a carnival night at my house.
So, well, folks, if you're going out to your state fair or whatever, have a great time. You know, we might diss it just a little bit and all, but
just don't listen to me.
You got to experience it at least once, but also take the time to go 2 or 3, counties away and check out some of their county fairs, because you will have probably twice as much fun for a third of the price.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we'll even give you a discount to come back and watch our show again next week.
Yeah.
What a deal.
Free.
Catch up with you later. Bye.